So, as we all know, Patriots lost to the Titans 2017 in overtime. And the big question mark was at the end of the game, Patriots got the ball, minute 45 left. They were set up on the 50-yard line by a great punt return. No timeouts. Had a few big plays, one of those to Hunter Henry. Obviously, the miracle play at the end. We're all there going, go for two, go for two, go for two. You're a bad team. You have no business even tying it up.
Right.
You're on the road. Take it. Jerod Mayo, after the game was asked, and he said, I'm not going to get into it, but basically everyone's saying how gassed they were. Well, Jerod Mayo, as always, made his weekly spot on the Greg Hill Show, and he was asked simply, are you giving your team the best chance? And this was his answer, which also alluded into analytics.
We always stay ahead of the game, and that conversation happened long before the 12-second play. And again, I thought that was the best thing to do for our team. And honestly, either way, unless you execute the play, you'll be criticized. Like, we go for two and we don't get it a couple games ago, and this time we kicked the extra point, and I felt good. I felt like that was the right thing to do. So it's not like I'm stuck anyway. I think, there's a combination of things that go into that decision, and ultimately it's my decision, and that's what I decided to do.
Him taking the ownership on that's my decision, because you are wondering, when is that discussion made? And he said, too, he did allude earlier in the interview as well, basically saying, like, we meet as a team. We meet in a time of peace is what he calls it. All the coordinators going through multiple situations. Get into a game, you have to remember what you talk about and all that. But he's saying it wasn't an analytics decision because of the weather, because of the flow of the game. And he said, for me as head coach, I can't ask anything more from my staff. It feels like I gave him the best shot. That answer there, at least he takes the full accountability. Like, that was my call. And he's not saying, well, there's a lot goes into it. And it's like Evan Rothstein takes the ownership. Still, flow of the game, if you're going to bring that up. And if you're saying the conversation happens before the 12-second play, he's talking about the game-tying play. The conversation that happens before you have on that drive is, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
And if we score, this is what the personnel will be. So you have all the subs right next to you. Every single play, they run on the field. Certain guys come out and you go, this is a play we're doing.
Tempo. Yeah.
I think he's saying, like, flow of the game and stay ahead, and the conversation happens on the fly. They saw how chaotic it was, and they didn't have time to catch your breath. That's why he kicked the field goal.
There's too much talk of not being able to catch your breath with this team.
You know what good teams do? They are prepared. They are led on the field and on the sideline, and they're able to catch your breath with no timeouts after a play like that.
They're conditioned.
It's not the conditioning. It's the mental part of it.
Well, George,
the moment got too big for them.
George, we talked about after this game how this defense was sucking air. Like, they have nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
Then the chaotic,
they're on the field the whole third and fourth quarter.
Right. The chaotic play at the end of the game offensively, the 12-second play. Oh, well, guys were tired. It's like, bro, like, some of this stuff, it's a funny dichotomy a bit, because with Bill Belichick, it was iron fist. I make the decisions. This is what we're doing. We're going in this direction. Okay, well, that worked for a long time until it didn't. And when it didn't, it was a bad look. So now you bring in this sort of utopia. We all make decisions. And it kind of, even in training camp, I remember us talking about, like, man, ping pong tables and bikes in the locker room and just hanging out and having fun, and your voice needs to be heard, and we cherish you. It just felt so Club Med. So now the pendulum has completely swung the other way to iron fist. We will not have penalties. We will not turn the ball over. We will be conditioned to, well, everyone's voice matters here, and these guys are tired. I think the truth and the happy medium is somewhere in the middle, George, and I don't believe this is a coaching staff for that.
And to me, that's what that moment was a reflection of no matter what the chaos is, and obviously no one predicts a 12-second play.
Sure.
But you get the subs out there, and you're locked and ready to go.
That's right.
And you have that conversation the whole time. He said it, like, offense is on the field, he's tapped into the offense, and he's talking to Alex Van Pelt, like, on his headset, switching a channel, telling them what they want to do. It is the same thing. That is a decision you make before you even get the ball on that drive.
That's right.
As you're on defense on the field, if you're locked in on defense, you're talking with Alex Van Pelt. We score, we go for two. Get your plays ready. You're having these discussions with Drake Maye. Then they go out there. It was made well long before that. He was playing for the tie. That's what it says to me. And I know it go, well, they see the 12-second play. It's chaos. That's why they go with the extra point. There isn't that answer. And if it was of, There's a lot of chaos. The offense was gassed. That game clock starts ticking the second we score that touchdown. We need to get going. And you know what? In that moment, with no timeouts, we have to kick the extra point. Then I would own that. But it's all on me. And then bringing the analytics, it was just losing.
Remember, after the game, that was the truth. That was the answer we got. Remember, he just poo-pooed it.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, well, I don't want to get into it right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now you've had a night to sleep on it, and you give us this answer, which is fair. I'm not criticizing that. But the truth was after the game, in the heat of that moment, George, he didn't even want that question. And remember, he said, it's a fair question. It's a good question. I just don't want to go there right now. I bet you don't.
What else I liked, though, from Jerod Mayo was asked about Drake Maye, the big plays he was making, but also the turnovers. And is that a Drake problem? Is that a rookie problem? Do you do something about it? And here's Jerod Mayo's answer on the Greg Hill Show.
I mean, he's trying to make plays out there, and I mean, that comes with it. It's the same thing when we talked about, guys breaking tackles and having issues holding onto the ball. Like, you love a guy that breaks tackles, but at the same time, you're more susceptible to, those type of plays. And look, I'm not going to try to change the way he plays. I look forward to seeing the way he continues to develop. And in saying that, I'm sure that turnovers and things like that will become less and less.
Credit to him. He's going to let Drake Maye go out and play.
Yeah. You better.
But he's saying, he's like, for him, it's the turnovers. It's part of the game. It's part of learning. It's part of growing.
Yeah.
And that's what he's saying there. Like, yeah, were those bad turnovers? 1,000%. Like, one of the interceptions he got straight baited into, I think it was like the Fred Warner pick six where Malik Hooker's picking up the crosser and then peels off. The second one, just Drake Maye didn't account for the wind. Look, you learn from failures, which I'm big on. He knows Drake Maye learned from that. And for him, he's like, I'm not going to change anything about him having that game-winning mentality, that big play mentality. I got to do something for my team and make a big play here. I got to be a gunslinger. He was still smart with the ball. His legs, he was the offense. And he's like, I'm not taking any of that away from him, which I do like.
I'm holding these turnovers to a grain of salt, and here's why. First of all, I'll give you credit because going back to the draft, and a lot of draft geniuses out there were making the Josh Allen comp. And I remember you bringing it up more, and even Justin Herbert, I think you threw in there, more of the body composition type gunslinger. But you said Drake Maye's even further along at this stage than Josh Allen was coming out of school.
1,000%.
But now I see it. I couldn't see it then. Now I see it. It's very Josh Allen-esque in
his legs.
In the sense of Josh Allen had a turnover issue for years, but I would always defend them because they didn't have a run game. They did have weapons with Diggs and Gabe Davis, but they didn't ever really have a run game outside of Josh Allen. He was a run game. And so, of course, he's going to turn the ball over because what else is he supposed to do? You're asking him to do everything. In this case now, Josh Allen has a run game. He's not turning the ball over as much. I hold these turnovers with Drake Maye to a grain of salt. Some of them, yes, are rookie mistakes, as you said. But some of this stuff, folks, he has nothing. You are asking this kid to do every damn thing. You can't block for him. You can't get a run game for the kid. He has no weapons to speak of outside of Pop Douglas, who's really a 3 in this league. Okay, let's be honest. So, look, go turn the ball over. If we lose a close game because you're throwing us in it, you finish with 3 touchdowns and 3 picks, and we lose, I'm not blaming Drake Maye for that. I'm blaming the supporting cast for that. I want to see what the turnovers look like as he gets older, as he gets more experience, and he gets help. Then if he's turning the ball over, I'm willing to have the conversation. Right now, I agree with Jerod Mayo. Let him play. Let him cook because he's all you got.
It's also his offensive line changed mid-game.
Right.
Like, it's like, what is the decision there to switch up the offensive line? You're playing matchups.
Stupid.
Just go with the best 5.
Right.
No one does that. Well, they're best defensive linemen at this point, so we're going to no, you go with the best 5 offensive linemen every single week. You know how you scheme to take a good player out? You scheme to it.
Yeah.
You don't personnel shift to it. That's happened there.
Who does that?
Look, Drake was phenomenal with his legs. He was the entire offense.
Yes.
He was phenomenal with his arm at certain points. Again, he was the entire offense. Even the strip sack, yes, get the ball out quicker. But we saw what he was going to do. He still felt the pressure, and he was literally getting ready to flip the ball out. I think it was Jermichael Hasty in front of him. I could be wrong. But he was ready to flip the ball out to the running back just to get positive yardage after no one got open downfield. And you know what? Good defense beat good offense there.
Yep.
I just like he's going to develop. I'm excited to see you watch.
Yeah.
One thing I love, it's about what you get with Joe Burrow. It's what you get with Josh Allen. It's what you get with Patrick Mahomes. There's no discouragement as the game goes on. They get better as the game goes on, where if he throws an interception, he's going to come back to that same throw and try and make it like he did on the long touchdown to Pop Douglas. Right. Interception, incompletion where he was off the mark. Third time's the charm. It was a touchdown. But they're the quarterbacks that go, this play needs to happen. Yeah. I am playing to win. I'm not playing to not make a mistake. That's what Drake Maye had. What is great. And Jerod Mayo doesn't want to put any of it away.
All the great quarterbacks have short memories. You get out there, you throw like a pick, hell with it. You know, like if I have to throw 4, so be it. But I may get the game-winning touchdown as well.
You put your team in that situation.
That's it.
They'll take it.